Welcome back, Sebastian here. Time for my review of qualifying for the 2024 Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Pretty exciting session, quite a bit of drama as well, but we'll get into that. So, sunny conditions to start Q1. Drivers get out for their first laps. Drivers in the bottom five after those first runs were Gasly, Hülkenberg, Ocon, Zhou, and Sainz. Sainz with a bit of a scruffy lap, skipping turn 15. I guess kind of didn't quite get the braking quite right. And decided to go down the kind of like, not the escape road, but basically the shortcut road on the inside of that corner. Perez fastest, Sainz second attempt goes P2 with 10 minutes to go in the session, so was able to get some speed in there eventually. Pinto, Behrman both have some moments, a bit of scruffy moments there for the two drivers both of them in their second F1 Grand Prix. Sainz goes down the escape road. Russell goes P2 with 5 minutes left in the session. And with 4 minutes left in the session, Stroll, Ocon, Bottas, Ricciardo, and Zhou were your drivers at risk in the drop zone. Ricciardo jumps to 7th, really high track evolution. Tsunoda and Gasly both got up into the top 10 from pretty low positions before that, again showing track evolution pretty high towards the end of Q1. Williams had a 2-4, so that was a bit of a surprise. And again, big drama here at the end of Q1 as Norris abandons his final run in Q1. He was in the drop zone in those final moments, P17, and he's knocked out along with Ricciardo, Bottas, Ocon, and Zhou. It seems like Ocon caused some kind of yellow flag, went down an escape road, perhaps at turn 15. And this, of course, meant that Norris had to slow down more. And at that point, when the margins are this tight, when you're slowing down at all, that basically just ruins your lap. So apparently he had a bit of a scruffy lap before that, but still that was really kind of, I guess, the heart in the knife, kind of, I guess, for Norris there, as he is now out of Q1 and he has a lot of work to do for tomorrow. Yeah, it seems like he also made a bit of a mistake at the final corner, so I don't know if that was him just being frustrated with what happened earlier. But tough, really tough qualifying session for Norris. And again, kind of as a joke, it was hard for Piastri to support him from 17th on the grid. Of course, one of the big talking points coming into this weekend is that before this weekend, McLaren had basically come in and said that Piastri would be trying to help Norris in that fight for the Drivers' Championship. And again, after that qualifying session, definitely going to be a lot harder tomorrow. Leclerc fastest at 42.775, and then into Q2 we go. Many going out on used tires for those first runs. Red Bull going on new tires, pretty good pace. They have a 1-2 with 9 minutes left in the session. Pinto, Alonso, Gasly, Tsunoda, Stroll in the bottom 5 with 6 minutes to go. And no one's really able to match Verstappen's first effort, a 1:42.042. So pretty good lap from Verstappen there at the start of Q2. Track evolution starting to slow down. Drivers not really able to get more out of the tire at this point in the session. And your 5 drivers out: Behrman, Tsunoda, Gasly, Hülkenberg, and Stroll. So unfortunate for Behrman out again, but he does out-qualify Nico Hülkenberg in a second ever Grand Prix. So that's a pretty good result, and I think he should be happy with that, despite just missing out on Q3. So Russell sets the benchmark for Q3, a 1:41.962, so finally dropping into the 1:41s. Piastri then goes fastest, but Leclerc goes slightly quicker just moments later with a 41.010, I believe that. No, 41.610, I believe. So drops the benchmark quite a bit there, Leclerc does. Verstappen only fastest. Perez pips him by 2 tenths, goes fifth fastest himself. And Verstappen had a bit of a mistake at the final corner. Big snap of oversteer on that curb at kind of the final real corner of the track. Albon, really strange moment at the end of the session. He goes out for his final run in Q3, but the airbox is still in the car. So obviously between runs, when the car is sitting in the garage, they had put the air boxes to basically cool the engine down, cool the car down. And Williams basically forgot to take one of the air boxes out, the one that goes right over the head. So basically he realizes it's there at the end of the pit lane. So he actually takes it out himself and throws it out of the car so he can keep going. Unfortunately for him, he loses a lot of time with that, and he actually, when he does get around, he unfortunately takes the checkered flag, which meant he wasn't able to go for his final run in Q3. And the stewards say that they're going to investigate that as well after the session for an unsafe release. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it's just a fine. We'll see if it's some kind of grid penalty. Honestly, it's pretty dumb infraction on Williams' part. So, but again, it's a pretty big no-no as well, driving around with the airbox on. So, honestly, would not be surprised if they gave him a grid penalty, even though, of course, Albon couldn't have done anything in that situation. But just kind of as to set an example, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they do. I'll find out in the morning, obviously. Let's see. So, Piastri up on Leclerc's time. Albon misses the checkered flag at this point. Hamilton and Russell don't improve on their laps at the end of Q3. Piastri improves. He's up to P2. I think 700ths off of Leclerc's time, so very, very close. But Leclerc sets a new benchmark of 41.365, improves by about 2 tenths, I'd say, on his previous lap, and just kind of proving that Leclerc is an absolute master around this track. He gets his 4th consecutive pole position around this track. He's gone pole every year since 2021, pole 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. And again, some of those years, not really dominant cars either. 2021 especially, like I mentioned in my preview. And again, has sets himself up very, very well for a second straight Grand Prix win, especially since the race pace seems to be much, much stronger on Ferrari compared to some of those previous years. Colapinto, good lap for him. He's up to 9th, so out-qualifies Albon. First time Albon's out-qualified in a main qualifying session since, I think, Latifi out-qualified him 2022 Japanese Grand Prix. So almost 2 years since Albon's last been out-qualified. Again, showing pace where Logan Sargent in basically a year and a half really didn't show that pace. I know there's conditions attached to that, Albon not able to set a lap time, but the fact that, Colapinto's able to get into Q3 and B is just able to set a lap time that's close enough to Albon to even be challenging his first lap time, even with track evolution, shows, Colapinto is, pretty good one lap pace. Perez goes 4th, Verstappen 6th. So again, another big moment, kind of milestone there. Perez out-qualifying Verstappen for the first time without any kind of shenanigans. I know he technically did it a couple times last year in Miami and Saudi Arabia, but there was both, I think Verstappen didn't set a lap in Q3 or in Miami, and then in Saudi Arabia had that drive shaft issue. So again, first time out-qualifying Verstappen on pace since Baku 2022. So 2 years ago, again, showing that he's pretty handy around this track, even when the Red Bull car is not quite up to snuff this year. So taking a look at the grid, pretty interesting Grand Prix for tomorrow. Leclerc first, Piastri alongside him on the front row. So 2/3 of my podium prediction are going to be starting on the front row. So I think, pretty good job there. And again, if Norris doesn't have that kind of bit of bad luck at the end of Q1, where does he end up? He could easily, I think, have been in that top 3. Don't think he could have challenged Leclerc for pole, but I think it could have easily been a McLaren 2-3 on the starting grid. Sainz 3rd, Perez 4th, Russell 5th, Verstappen 6th, Hamilton 7th, Alonso 8th, Colapinto 9th, Albon 10th, Behrman 11th. So it'll be interesting to see if Colapinto and Behrman can get points tomorrow. I think for 2 of them it'll be tough unless there's a lot of DNFs in front of them. 12th Tsunoda, 13th Gasly, 14th Hülkenberg, 15th Stroll. Bit of a tough session for him. Out-qualified by Alonso by a pretty big margin. I know the gap between himself and Q2 and the cutoff for Q3 was almost half a second, and then Alonso, very good lap as well. So I think it was about 7-8 tenths of a second. He might have even been a second. So tough session there by Stroll. 16th Ricciardo, 17th Norris, 18th Bottas, 19th Zhou, and 20th Ocon. Again, all eyes are going to be on Norris tomorrow, as he's only 60 odd points behind Verstappen in the championship. Verstappen starting P6. Not sure if he's going to have the race pace or if this track is going to be conducive to overtaking for him to be able to make up much ground. But for Norris, I think he should be able to get into the points. I think McLaren should be fast enough. He's just going to have to make sure he keeps it clean in those opening corners, as we know Baku can be quite hectic on the opening lap. But should be a good Grand Prix. I think it's probably going to be between Leclerc and Piastri for that win. It'll be interesting to see how the long run pace compares of those top for teams. Again, Perez very good as well, so wouldn't be surprised if he's able to get a podium here as well. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with F2 feature race and of course my review for the Grand Prix. Looking forward to it. Anyway, goodbye.